Good morning. Thank you.
morning.
Please have a seat.
Nice and early. Good morning,
worries.
everybody.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bill McChris, and before we start, a couple of quick notes. Please check your cell phones. Make sure they are not making noise. We've got them on quiet. Also, no flash photography. All right. At this time, we want to welcome head coach Jenny Baranczyk from University of Oklahoma. And coach, thank you for coming. Before we start, maybe with the questions, if you wanted to talk a little bit about the journey to Sacramento through the NCAA tournament and a little bit about that process.
Well, we are just thrilled that we got to host again this season, and happy to have Oklahoma people here today too. So love this team, love the growth that we've had. It's been a fun mix of youth and experience, and just really excited to be here.
Okay, great. We'll open it up to questions right down here up front. Again, as was said earlier, please identify yourself.
Isn't it like already noon for you?
By name and media
Stretching?
outlet.
Yeah, it's great when people call you 5:30 in the morning not knowing you're on the West Coast. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
That's awesome.
it's tremendous. Doug Feinberg, the AP. Coach, two questions. One is just, you guys played here in November. How helpful was that, if at all, getting used to the facilities, the arena from that point? Second one is just, you've played South Carolina before, so how much does that help you familiarity with a team that you've already played and had some success against?
Well, as my daughter noticed, today's her birthday. She's here. She turned 12 today. So she noticed every step. She got to come with us. So for her, we're used to a lot of things. For me, I'm, who knows if it helps you to be able to play. Do I think it helped us playing a UCLA in November here? Absolutely. I don't think that can hurt you. I think when you're playing against great teams, it exposes you early, and you have to learn, and you fall down. And we're lucky to play in the SEC conference too for that very same reason. So when you face a team like South Carolina, you've played them before. You've gotten beat by a lot. You've gotten closer, and then we obviously had a game in overtime. So that's why you play in that league, is it prepares you for the NCAA tournament. I remember Dawn telling us that. It's my second year in the SEC, and I remember her telling us that this league does. One, it makes a woman out of you, and two, it definitely gets you prepared for that next level. So do I think there are some things? I think we played okay. I think we had some moments that we played really well in that game. I think we had moments that we didn't. Do I think they played their A game? Probably not. So you still have to be ready, and I don't know if that helps you or hurts you, but at the end of the day, it's a basketball game. It's in the Sweet 16, and the margin of error is really, really small, and at least we go in knowing that, and we better be ready.
Question over here.
Hi, Coach. Asia Simone Smith with KTXL. And I also had two quick questions. How much have beers and beer lust affected the program? And also with your younger players, how much have you seen develop over the year?
Yeah. I think Reagan is one that, she came in and obviously had great success at Oregon State, and then all of a sudden, we all know what happened and why it happened, and we were so lucky and fortunate to have her. I will forever be impressed with her picking this conference to play in. She could have gone anywhere, and for her to pick a team that was on the edge, she's taken us to a different level. And it's been amazing to be able to watch her progress and to be able to watch her become more assertive and confident, and I think she's just led us in great ways. Peyton is very similar to that. Peyton took a chance on us as well, and at a different time. She was hungry. She's really started to build this. Imagine the experience that Peyton has had. She came in, we didn't have a post, we're in a 5-out, we're in the Big 12. She had to sit out a semester. She's grown so much, and so to be able to watch her navigate this journey, to be able to play with a young point guard in Aaliyah and really lead a young team this season has been phenomenal to watch. So I love the way that our freshmen, sometimes I love the way that they're playing. Sometimes they're freshmen. But at the end of the day, the fact that they still have smiles on their faces, they're getting this unmatched experience playing in this conference, playing in the NCAA tournament. This is their first Sweet 16, and so I'm excited to be able to watch them step on the floor and just continue to grow. So I think they're developing. I think they've had fun playing. I think they've failed. I think they've done great things and everything in between. So I love the mesh of our worlds, and just excited to continue to be part of the journey with them.
Question out here on the second row.
Hi, Coach. Matthew Walter from the Nine Sports. You obviously are one of the fastest teams in the country. You guys push, play with tempo, and I'm just wondering, how do you build that mindset where even when the other team scores, you take it out of the net and we're going, and you try to get your team to just play fast and not worry about sort of makes or misses from the other team, that we're just going to play with this aggressive mentality on offense no matter what?
I really do feel like, and kind of going to add to that, the question I was just asked, well, in twofold. One, sometimes there's this misconception that a center like a Reagan Beers can't play at that pace, and I don't agree with it. And it makes you be assertive, and it makes you position, it makes you be in alignment with one another more than you think. It's not just roll it out and somebody go make a play. You have to be on the same page at all times. And so that's something that I've been impressed with. Our young players learn the pace isn't always just in a fast break set. We're still learning, trying to get it in the half court look too, because sometimes, you're not going to get it in the first 6 seconds, 7 seconds. You've got to be able to work it, and so you have to be able to learn both. But I think that's part of who we are. The reason that I do that is I want 5 people on the floor as scorers at all times. At all times. I want everybody to rebound. I want everybody to defend. I want everybody to handle. I want everybody to shoot. When you are like that and you build your chemistry, it's really challenging to guard, but more so than that, it's really fun to play. That's my goal in this whole thing, is for them to love the game of basketball and to be able to play it, to be able to read it, to be able to celebrate an assist just as much as a screen, just as much as a basket made. And I think you can see that in our players. The seasons get long. This is a lot on young people, especially right now. Like, I know this crazy world that we're in is really benefiting young people, but it's also not easy for them. And so for them to still find the fun and the light and the love, we're gatekeepers not just of Oklahoma or the SEC or college women's basketball. We're gatekeepers of this sport. And so that's what I want. I want these young boys and girls. We're still trying to build a fan base, right? We're still trying to build dreams for young people to come in and watch. But that's why we do that. And the more that you do that, the more fun you have. Sometimes the faster you go.
Question here and then there.
Hi, Jenny, your fellow Central Time Zone
I
person.
know, exactly.
Mike Vopel, ESPN.com. If you go back to that South Carolina game, it was at a time when you guys kind of needed a confidence boost. And
You mean because we lost a lot right before
yeah,
that? Right? Yeah.
But it was very emotional after that game in a really good way. And I wonder what it was like for your team, because I know you still had a lot of SEC season, but
Yeah.
what that game meant both to the team and then particularly to Aaliyah, because she really stepped forward in that overtime. What did that mean to both?
Yeah, and the outside world, right? That got inside a huddle, but the outside world thinks that the emotion came from the win. The emotion didn't come from the win of a game. The emotion came because we're a young team trying to navigate life together. You're trying to bring in, and especially at that time, you have this center that's really good. You have a playmaker in Peyton that's really good. You have Sahara Williams, who has this just incredible energy and presence about her. And then you mix it with freshmen, and at that, you mix it with an Aaliyah Chavez, who was a fairly ball-dominant guard coming in, learning how to play with really great players around her and putting them in position. So at that time, the emotion was more about us playing together, and you could feel that togetherness. You could feel those assists. You could feel the pace. You could feel the way that you played, and that was really where that emotion is. So I don't think it was even you win or lose. It's not like we were sitting there and, thinking the rain was on us and we were feeling so sorry for ourselves. It was, okay, it doesn't feel good to lose. Those 2 weeks feel like 3 months. They really do. That's the intensity of this sport and of this league. But I would say that emotion wasn't because we won a basketball game. That emotion was because of how we played And when you play like that, then sometimes that scoreboard is on your side.
Yeah, follow up.
Can you talk a little bit about, I know this seems like an obvious question, what makes South Carolina so tough this season with the way that Edwards has progressed, Okot, the variety of guards they can throw at you? What makes them so difficult to face?
What I think about South Carolina is that you don't get just this year's team. You get the history of South Carolina. You get their experience that's unmatched. You get a Raven Johnson that has had any and every kind of experience in that leadership. You get a Tessa Johnson who has done nothing but hit huge shots over and over and over again. And then you add a Tanaya Latson, right, into that mix. That's a different guard. That's a playmaking guard. And so just right there, that's a challenge enough. Obviously, I think Medina Okot has had an incredible season. I mean, she's just her versatility. I mean, she's shooting the 3-ball more. You can't just sit and pack a paint. They're offensively so skilled and defensively so disciplined. And I haven't even mentioned Joyce yet. And Edwards is so beyond special. I got to coach her this summer in USA. So she's high character. She is plays very, very hard. She's a matchup nightmare because of her strength and her size and her ability to maneuver in small spaces. She just finds ways. So to me, they're very, very well balanced. They're a team that is used to the moment. And you never get to play this year's team at this time. You're playing a lot of history there.
Question up front.
Hi, Coach. Isabel Gonzalez, CBS Sports. This is a bit of a two-part question. Obviously, Aaliyah Chavez had an amazing performance in that overtime period, and I feel like that's kind of what really helped her case for one of the best players, freshmen in the nation. So I'm wondering, what kind of conversation do you have with her ahead of this game, because there was so much attention on her after that performance, and also what's the biggest thing you've seen her grow from the beginning of the season to now?
Well, I feel like Aaliyah she's not a one-hit wonder. She's just she just gets better and better and better and better, and she's learning more and more and more and more. And some freshmen have great games, and then they don't, and then they do, and then they don't. And she hasn't really been like that for us. She's just been really, really steady. I've been really impressed with her daily approach. Therefore, no conversations needed. She shows up. She loves playing the game. She is so simple. She loves her team. She loves, she's not afraid of anything, and yet she just wants to work for it. So she doesn't even come into a game to win the game. She comes in to play the game. And she wants to win, and a lot of times she does win, but she is like addicted to learning the game. She wants to have those conversations. I mean, you'll watch her run over during a timeout and want to articulate things. You'll watch her. If you really watch her, she'll be like, okay, we need to run this for Reagan. What do you think? And I'm like, you go right ahead. So her ability to, at the beginning of the year, not use many words, to now really starting to articulate in some timeouts, to play calling sometimes for her teammates. Sure, she will come down, and there's times where she feels like, I have to do this. She's gone from, I have to do this all of the time, to let's figure this out together. And not in terms of me and her, but her and her team. So you can see that natural leadership really growing. She is a coach's dream, and I know there's outside stuff sometimes that gets projected onto her, and I don't really think it's fair, because I think everybody that plays with her loves her. Everybody that gets to see what she does every day respects her. And they know that, at the end of the day, she wants to win, and she's going to put us in positions to do that. But she's also not afraid to fall. Sometimes people can get really heady about things, or get really worried about what they did in a 5-minute segment in January. That's not where Aaliyah's at. Aaliyah's at today. She just focuses on what she needs to do today.
Time for one final question here up front.
Yeah, Colton Sully, the Oklahoman. Hey, Jenny, you've talked about Zaya being the most improved player in the SEC several times. I was just curious to ask you about how you've sort of seen her grow into her role. I know you've said doesn't have the most outward personality, but how have you sort of seen her grow into that and help lead this team?
I love watching Zaya. I really do. And again, somebody that's in the gym all the time, someone that, talk about growing with somebody. And she's somebody that just looks at our team and sees greatness in everybody around her and knows that she has to bring in. And I think that's what's really elevated her game. That's not easy for a sophomore to do. A lot of times sophomores can get really intimidated by certain things, and she doesn't. She just knows that she's got to get better. She knows she has to come in really focused. She knows that she's got to guard. She knows that there's times that she's going to have to get switched on to a post and, do whatever she can. There's times that she has to make really big plays for us offensively. And so she hasn't shied away from one moment. And again, I think I probably keep saying this too much, and it might be the parent in me. It might be the fact that I have a daughter's birthday, so I'm in kind of a different mode today. But, when you can see young people fall down, get up, and go, the difference between a year ago Zaya Van and today's Zaya Van is completely different. You guys get to see it on the court. I get to see it every day. And every day that I see her show up and work through some things that are challenging, that to me, Zaya's going places in life. So I'm just, even her confidence, the way she carries herself, the words that she's using, where a year ago she wasn't using many. And now you can just see her continuing to grow. Thank you.
Coach
Thanks for asking
Baranczyk,
about her,
thank you
too.
very much for your time.
Thank
and,
you.
Very
Thank
best
you.
of luck tomorrow.
Appreciate you all. Boomer.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Would you like a first question with the students?
Stairmaster's in here, so I gotta fit it in somehow.
All right. We're going to get started with our student athletes for the Oklahoma Sooners. Today we have Reagan Beers, Aaliyah Chavez, and Sahara Williams. Again, if you're just coming into the room, please silence your cell phone. We're going to start off with questions, if that's okay. We've got a question right down here.
Good morning, Dylan Clearfield, USA Today Sports Network. So Sahara, specifically for you, I know that you mentioned that you were overlooked by some programs. What was it about Oklahoma that made this home for you, as well as what your coach made, it's so special for you during your recruitment?
No, Jenny was just different. She was all about being blue collar. She didn't really care about a story, a pass, or anything. She just wanted people who were going to come and work hard and just play the game of basketball and not come in for any other extra things. So I think just Jenny's belief in young women, I think was what really stood out to me, in the culture that she really believes in. And I just thought it was something that I could be here and build with her. And so that's why I was just so confident in coming to Oklahoma.
Hi, Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. For Reagan, you've had the opportunity to match up against Medina Okot a couple times over the last 2 seasons now in the SEC. I'm wondering how that scout has evolved for you watching her.
Obviously, her outside shot has developed in the past 2 years, which I think is so cool to see as a fellow post player who is also trying to work on my outside shot. So to be able to see that in someone else and other post players who are working on that is really cool. So obviously that part of the scout has changed. But she is a phenomenal rebounder, offensive rebounder specifically. She gets in there. So we got to be able to focus on that, obviously. And then she's a threat on the block. I mean, that girl can score. And so it's going to be really important, obviously, to keep her as far away from the basket as possible tomorrow. So obviously that'll be my job along with our team. And so I'm excited to go up against her again.
Question over here on the side one more time.
Sahara, follow-up about the recruitment process. So you wrote that Oklahoma was the only school to offer me the kind of love and support that you needed for it to feel like home. Can you tell us about a moment that you felt that during your process?
I would say, honestly, because Jenny was a coach at Drake first. I'm from Iowa, so like Iowa girls. And then when she got the job here and she kept recruiting me, that's when I was like, oh yeah, like she really is a fan of my game, and I'm just as big of a fan of her and how she coaches and her philosophy. So I think when she got the job here and she continued to recruit me, I think that was a big moment for me.
Right here, down there.
Michael Vopel, ESPN.com. Aaliyah, can you talk about just the evolution of your game this season? Jenny talked about how it's a learning process for anybody, but especially for a point guard. Can you talk about that, and then specifically maybe what you learned from that game against South Carolina?
Definitely just, man, like she said, my game's growing each and every day. It's during practice, during the games, even outside the court. But, the huge thing that I learned during that game is just the pace. I feel like definitely at the very beginning we were sped up more than we needed to be. I think obviously in that third and fourth quarter we slowed down and started playing Oklahoma basketball. So that's what I learned for sure.
Question at the back of the room.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR-TV. Reagan, you got pretty emotional after the Michigan State game. Not to get you too emotional again, but talk about what your feeling is about what you've been able to accomplish in 2 years at Oklahoma and what you feel like maybe you and the other veteran players have done as far as setting the tempo for this program going forward.
Yeah, if my team has learned anything about me, it's that I'm a crier in my 2 years here. So yeah, lots of emotions for sure after that game. One of my last game at Lloyd Noble, which was an emotional time because I love those fans, I love those people, and I love this place. And so it has been incredible to have 2 years here under Jenny, a phenomenal coach who not only believes in you as a player, but believes in you as a person. And like Sahara mentioned earlier, wants you to be a strong woman and be able to go out and do amazing things in the world. And so it's been great to be a part of a culture that just pushes that and have a coach that encourages that in you. And so then to be surrounded by 10 other girls this year who want that for you as well, that want you to have fun and enjoy your last year, has been an incredible journey for me these 2 years.
Question here in the second row.
Hi, Matthew Walter from the 9 Sports. Reagan, in this 5-out system that you guys run, how do you feel like your game has grown over the last couple of years? Because obviously it's a very different style and system than what you played at Oregon State, and it's a little bit more up-tempo, but Jenny said it's wrong to think that someone like you can't play and feed in this style.
It was really cool when I was first being recruited by Jenny out of the transfer portal. I was very hesitant. I was like, Jenny, I don't know if I can. I'm not that fast. I don't know if I can play that fast. Y'all play really fast. So I came on my visit, and she showed me film of me doing something at Oregon State, and then Oklahoma doing it. She's like, you literally did it just in a different jersey. You literally did it. You'll just be doing more of that. And so that was really, really cool and kind of got me to see a vision that I didn't see yet and that Jenny could see, which was really unique. And so now I love playing fast, and when we slow down to practice, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, let's get going, you know what I mean? So it's been really cool to see that, and then Aaliyah coming here, obviously, and then Zaya elevating that speed of our game 100%. When we have guards who can push the ball like that and then keep our pace in the half court, we're a tough team to guard. And so obviously we need to be able to do that tomorrow, be consistent in that, which is going to be fun.
Question in the back corner.
Hey, Reagan. The Chase Justice, WYFF News 4 in South Carolina. This is your 5th matchup against a Dawn Staley coach team. In 3 of the past 4, you've dropped 15 or more points. What's led to some of that success, and how does that familiarity help at this stage in the tournament?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know this is. I know I played them a lot, but okay, nice. I guess I have the experience a little bit. They're a phenomenal team, obviously, and I've played anywhere from Camille Cardoso to now, obviously, Okot, two phenomenal post players, and so I've just gotten better every time I've played them. They're one of the standards in women's basketball, so I think it's really cool, and we have our own standard now at Oklahoma because of the experience that we have had in the tournament for last year and this year. And so it's been really fun to play against really good teams, South Carolina being one of them, and March Madness is such a cool time for that. And so what a unique opportunity that we have to play in the SEC and then come here and play more really good teams in the tournament, South Carolina being one. So we got a lot of work to do, obviously, tomorrow to be able to handle them, but we're a good team, too. They've had to scout us all week as well, so I'm excited to go up against them for fifth time, you said? Sixth time? So, fifth time. All right.
Question right up front.
Doug Feinberg, the AP. Reagan, how much does it help you guys, familiarity, having played them this year already and had success when you watch in the film? You see things that you can work on, but also had success with.
Obviously, you want to look back at that film and say, okay, what did we do well? What were the things we can improve upon? But also that, in my opinion, I felt like years ago that we played them, and so we are two very different teams as of now. They've obviously improved since then, and so have we. And so it's going to be a similar game to how we play, but also very different. And so they still have, obviously, scores inside and outside, and so do we. And so we have to be consistent in a lot of the things that we do on defense, knowing our personnel, knowing who we got to guard on that three-point line, who can shoot lights out, and knowing who we got to box out and not let them rebound. And so many things that they do well, we have been working on to combat. And so I'm proud of us for the work that we put in to get to this point and the work that we put in this week to prepare for them tomorrow.
Question in the back, and then here.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR TV. For Aaliyah, can you talk about how you and the fellow freshmen have progressed this season, and how important was it to have veterans like Reagan and Sahara and Peyton to help guide you and to make your game better as you've been a freshman this year?
No, yeah. I mean, I can't speak for all the other freshmen, but for me, both of them have been leaders to me, have been sisters to me, been my calm people, so they have been huge in my journey here at Oklahoma. But I feel like all of the freshmen are growing each and every day. We're just having more confidence each day, each practice, each game. So we're just growing each and every day.
Question in the second row.
Yeah, Sahara, you almost sometimes feel like you're the energy source of the entire gymnasium. And you also sometimes have to play smaller than you are and larger than you are as a defender, because you defend all sorts of players. I wonder where that energy and sort of that ability to just be a kind of a Swiss Army knife, if you will, comes from. And then Reagan, if you could kind of talk about playing with somebody like her.
Well, I think for me, when you just love something, like you just do it to the best of your ability. And I think it's such a blessing that every day we get to play basketball and we get to play in March. So I think that's just why I kind of play so hard. I mean, you work so hard at it, how do you not want to come out and play? And I think when you have people like Reagan and Aaliyah and the rest of our staff and people on our team, it's kind of hard not to show up. And when you can do something so special, it's kind of hard not to show up. So I think for me, that's just where it comes from, the love of the game and just the love of the people that I get to do it with.
I think a Swiss Army knife is a great, honestly, way to describe Sahara. I wouldn't have thought about it like that, but that's a great analogy. And one such cool thing about Sahara, because she is that way, is that one game she could have 20 points and just be a ferocious person on defense, and the next game she can maybe have 5 points, but then she's going to have 8 assists. And so she really is a utility player in a way for our team. And I think her and Peyton actually both do that a lot of the time, doing the things that people don't necessarily want to do all the time. She's always the first one to close out and clap in front of somebody and distract them enough so they miss that three-point shot or something like that. So she has the energy of a bullet at times, and so that just uplifts everyone around her and uplifts our team and forces us to reach her level. Because when she plays at that level, we are really good. And then that forces us to play at that level because she is doing that. And so that has elevated our team, that has elevated this program, and that has elevated Oklahoma.
Question in the back corner.
Hey, Leah, you had a great matchup against South Carolina in round one. How does that success help you this time around when it's win or go home, and specifically being guarded by Raven Johnson? What do you remember about that matchup?
Really all I remember is how my team made sure I got them wide open shots. That's all it is. Obviously, they put the trust in me to make those shots. They passed it to me to make those shots. But, just like Reagan said, like, we've gotten better, they've gotten better. So we're just going to come out and play Oklahoma basketball and make sure that we come out and make sure we know our scouts and know what we need to do on defense and how we need to push the ball on offense.
Aaliyah, I was wondering, as you've grown into the season, how have you found your pace of play? Because I watch you play and it's out of the net, boom, we're up, and
Yeah.
you're down the floor so quickly. As you've grown into the season, how have you sort of learned that pace of when to play fast, when to slow down, and finding that sort of middle ground?
I think I'm just growing each and every game. I mean, we play different teams. Some days you have to push as fast as you can, and some days you have to slow it down. Obviously, I think a huge part was that South Carolina game, the last time we played them, because we were sped up a little too much in the first quarter or first half, and you could tell. And I think coming out that third quarter, you see that obviously I have the ball in my hands a lot, so I determine how fast we need to go and how slow we need to go. So I definitely think that's been a huge challenge, but I've been growing each and every game.
Question in the back row.
Sahara, for you, this will be your fourth time you've played South Carolina the last 2 years. That first one didn't go so well in Columbia, but you've gotten progressively better, beat them in Norman this year. Can you talk about how getting familiar with them and their talent and ability and everything else has helped this team, and how much confidence you have going into this fourth meeting?
No, I think, first of all, they're a really, really good team, and each time we've played them, it's definitely been a different type of game. But I think having experience is your best teacher. You never really know till you play. You never really know how it feels till you're under the lights in the big moments. And I just feel like our last time we played them kind of showed, like, okay, we got the experience and we have the talent. So when you get experience and talent, I think really good things happen. But I think this team has just grown and grown and grown and grown. And even from the first time that I played them last year, like you said, it was like not our best game, but even like our last time we played them, it was like, wow. Like, look at how much we've grown. And that was even in January and like 2 months ago. And it's like, okay, we're a different team today. So I'm just excited to see how much that we've grown. And I know they're a different team. They've had to scout us and we've had to scout them. But I'm just excited to see how much like we've really, really grown.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for your time and best of luck in your game.
Thank you.